teams. They both come in with very young lineups. Baylor features 7 freshmen on their roster, Rice with 5. But both teams are led by senior middle blockers.
That's right, Mitch. Both teams have only 1 senior, and they're both middle blockers. Rice is led by 6'4", honorable mention All-America last year, Tricia Bowen. She's the tallest person in the conference, and she's also one of the strongest middle blockers. She is a true All-America candidate, could be Rice's first ever All-American. On the other side, we have Dawn Martin for Baylor. She's an outstanding middle blocker, led the team in all blocking categories last year, and was second in all hitting categories. I think the matchup tonight is going to be key in the middle. It could determine the outcome of the match.
Well, Mary, both these teams are very talented and have a lot of firepower on the outside, both.
That's right. Nikki Yarber for Rice is a 2-year starter. She's an outstanding outside hitter. She's a little small, but she has very much court savvy. She's a good all-around player. On the other side, we have Heather Williams, who last year had the most outstanding freshman campaign ever in Baylor, and she should be a real firepower on the outside tonight.
Well, we'll be back with tonight's match after this. We are back to St. Edward's University for the Southwest Conference Volleyball Match of the Week. We're now about to have the starting lineups come on out, and we'll join our announcer, Phil Rancifer, for those introductions.
Good evening and welcome to St. Edward's University, home of the Hilltoppers, for match number 1 of the 1990 Whataburger Southwest Conference Showcase Tournament, pairing the Bears of Baylor University and the Owls of Rice. We'd like to introduce the starting lineup for both clubs. First, the Bears of Baylor. Would you please meet the setter, 5'7" junior from Houston Clear Lake. Number 1 is Bonnie Inlow. 5'9" junior outside hitter from Abilene. Number 3 is Kathy Jones. 5'10" sophomore outside hitter from Amarillo. Number 5, Heather Williams. Number 8 is middle blocker, 5'10" freshman from Kerrville. Meet Brenda Kuntz. Number 11, the captain, middle blocker, 5'11" senior from Buena Vista, Colorado, is Dawn Martin. And 5'11" freshman outside hitter from Arlington, Sam Houston, number 13, Jenny DeLue. The Bears of Baylor are coached by Tom Sonicson. Bears of Baylor University. Now the Owls of Rice. The Owls will start sophomore outside attacker, 5'10", number 1, Cheryl Dell. Cheryl hails from Elmhurst, Illinois. Number 3 is the setter, 5'8" junior from Arlington Heights, Illinois. Meet Katie Meyer. Number 5, outside attacker, 6'2" freshman from Crystal Lake, Illinois, Tammy Townsell. Number 7, outside attacker, 5'9" sophomore from Fridley, Minnesota, Michelle Kaminsky. Number 11, 5'10" junior outside attacker from St. Mary's, Idaho, Nicole Yarber. And the captain, middle blocker, 6'4" senior from Arlington, Texas, number 12, Tricia Bowen. The assistant coaches at Rice, Steve Odell and Tim Toon. The head coach, Debbie Sokol. The Owls of Rice University. Thank you, ladies.
Well, now, Mary, the coaches for tonight's match are Tom Sonicson and Debbie Sokol, heads up the Rice coaching staff. And watching these players line up on the end line, it looks like that both of these coaches have prepared their teams very well to play.
I think they probably have. Spring practice went well for both teams, and speaking with the coaches earlier, of course, Tom Sonicson's only in his 2nd year, and you can see by the number of newcomers that they have 11 underclassmen, freshmen and sophomores, and I think Sonicson's recruiting is really starting to have an effect on their roster.
So I'd say that both of these coaches are building teams for the future, and it's nice to have a little bit of senior leadership that they have in the middle from both teams. I know that both teams are a little bit young into setting positions, and it'll be kind of interesting to watch how these setters run their teams tonight.
That's right. That could be key tonight because the middle blockers are strong, but the setters are the quarterback. Let's see how they do.
Baylor won the serve, and of course we have to serve in volleyball to score a point. Dawn Martin is back to serve. Tees it up. Right-hand floater on the way. Right. Quickly to the middle to Tricia Bowen.
Mitch, they're going to their bread and butter right from the start. Bowen, as we said before, honorable mention All-American. They're not going to hold back. They're going to let her get those kills.
Nikki Yarber. Nikki serves a little bit before the whistle is blown here.
Actually, it appears that there's a rotation mistake. The down ref has stopped the match and is going to talk to head referee here. Of course, we have Baylor on the left in green, Rice on the right in white.
Nikki, what happens there is that it's the first play of the game. They don't rotate, or did they line them up on the floor incorrectly? So wait, deep serve. Dawn Martin has to set outside. Bump sets deep into the court. We have a bump set tied to the outside with the swing hit down the line. Dawn Martin digs. Bonnie Inlow looks for the outside swing. Heather Martin hits deep into the court. Setter's just not able to get there. Side out Baylor.
Williams gets her first kill of the night. As we said before, she led the team in all categories last year as a freshman. She's starting off hot.
Bonnie Inlow looks cross court to serve. Goes deep at Tricia Bowen. Ball served off the mark, overhead set, step blocked, out of bounds, side out Rice.
That was a nice hit by Tammy Trounsel. She's a redshirt freshman. She tooled the block, hit off their hands, and went out of bounds, so the ball was unplayable.
Rice in their serving order now. Dell serves. Dawn goes to the pass to Bonnie. Dawn Martin to the middle. Bonnie Inlow trying to force that middle quickly.
Both teams told us, both coaches have told us, that they want to concentrate on their middle. They want to establish the middle from the beginning. Bonnie Inlow, the setter for Baylor, is having a little trouble connecting. She might have a little, some jitters, but we'll see how it works out.
Heather Williams with a jump serve. Oh, miss hits the ball and side out automatically. That's something we're seeing a lot more of in women's volleyball, is the jump serve.
Sure. The men's Olympic team in 1988 made that real popular, and it is definitely very popular among the men. And starting last year, I believe, women started doing that more and more, and it could be very effective.
Jessica Williams in the game to serve for Rice, a left-hander. Looks like they're going after Dawn Martin. She passes on the money. Kathy Jones, hits the ball into the antenna.
The ball was set a little bit too far outside. She really couldn't do anything with it, so it hit the antenna. And we get our first point of the night, 1-0.
Looks like these teams have picked out specific people to go out after. Kathy Jones passes the ball straight up. Dawn Martin having to set the ball again. Kathy Jones takes a hard swing cross court. Tricia Bowen sets high to the middle, touch off the block. Bonnie Inlow again to the outside.
What an effective play by Katie Meyer. She's a junior on the Rice team, but she's a veteran quarterback setter, and she just went up and hit that ball down because she is now in the front row, which makes her an eligible hitter.
Jessica Williams to serve again. Going long, the serve is long and out of bounds. Side out Baylor. Well, it seems that both teams are a little bit shaky serving early.
Both teams are rusty. It seems in all aspects of the game. We just need to get a couple points on the board, and I think they'll be fine.
Janae Zulu to serve. Serves deep middle back.
Let's see if they can convert this free ball, Mitch.
Kathy Jones gets a swing down the line. Looking for a touch, but no touch.
I think Baylor is trying to take advantage of Katie Meyer's lack of height. She's going to be blocking for Rice on the right-hand side. Michelle
Kaminsky serves short and in the net. Those first serves just happen to be a big bear for you. They don't want you to get back there and have to take that deep breath and wheel that ball over the net.
And had her jump and wait before she went up, and she was under the ball and couldn't get it over the net.
Tricia Bowen to serve. Goes deep at Heather Williams. Bonnie Inlow bumps up the ball, and Dawn Martin just has to bump that and bumps up the ball in the net.
Martin's a real aggressive player, as you can see there. She tried to get a kill off a free ball, but she just hit the top of the net, didn't go over.
Baylor receives with two people here. Tricia Bowen goes at position number 2 on the court. We might talk a little bit more about that earlier. Dawn Martin hits from the outside. It's covered well. Dawn Martin goes up with a little tip in the roll. Set to the outside to Yarber. Hits deep into the court, off of the arms of Kuntz.
Smart hit by Yarber. She went over the block, hit down the line deep. That's one of the holes in normal defenses that are open on the court, and it's a very smart ball to hit.
Rice leads this game 4-1. My mistake earlier. Baylor having a little bit of trouble handling the ball early. Rice with the free ball. They run a slide set back into the right-hand side of the net. Bonnie in low with the set outside again to Kathy Jones. Hits the off-speed shot. Ball out to Yarber. Up high off the hands and off of Heather Williams in middle back.
Nice touch by Williams in the back. Rice is really starting to establish their game now. You can see they're getting into a flow. They're gaining some confidence.
They put a lot of pressure on here with the serve with Tricia Bowen coming out here. And right now we need to go to one of our academic highlights.
Hi, my name is Tricia Bowen. I'm a middle blocker for Rice University. I'm majoring in managerial studies, and I hope one day to pursue a successful business career for a large corporation. As a senior this year, I can look back and be pleased with the decision to attend Rice University. Rice has afforded me the opportunity to earn a prestigious degree as well as realize my potential as a volleyball athlete. The social atmosphere at Rice has encouraged me to become a part of the mainstream life on campus. It has been a great experience.
We're back at St. Edward's University. Rice leads the first game 5-1, and Baylor took a timeout. Baylor seems to be a little bit shaky in handling the ball right now. Mary Tricia Bowen has put a lot of pressure on them with her serve.
As I said before, Rice is really starting to get into the flow of their game. They're gaining some confidence and taking Baylor out of their game. With an inexperienced setter on the Baylor side of the court, setter really can bring a team together and provide that leadership, and I think that's where they're hurting a little bit right now. She needs to gain some confidence with some good passes.
We're ready for Tricia Bowen again to serve. Tricia Bowen tees it up. Continues to serve deep and putting a lot of pressure on Heather Williams. Bonnie in last, bump set the ball high outside. Dawn takes a swing. And the ball is dug in the court by Tricia Bowen. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, eh?
Right, lucky break for the Owls. And they go up 6-1, early 5-point lead, game number 1.
Already, Rice leads this game with 5 kills to Baylor's 2. I would think that having a lot off of serve reception. Kathy, stuff blocked straight down.
Great
Cheryl
block.
Dell.
Cheryl Dell and Nikki Yarber teamed up for that block straight down, couldn't dig it up. Another point for the Owls. They're on a roll, Mitch.
Tricia Bowen has served 6 straight points. Baylor just cannot seem to handle the serve. The ball has not been passed to the mark. Rice to the outside again and hit the ball, and it slivers in between Dawn and the net. What happens when that ball happens to fall in between the hands of the net there, Mary?
Martin was a little bit off the net. So you need to be close to the net in order to block the ball down. She blocked it down straight in front of her, which means she was a little bit too far from the net.
Tricia Bowen again serving. Going after the freshman, Jenny DeLue. Another high outside set to Dawn Martin. She swings cross court. A little bit of confusion in the defense. Kuntz passes the ball to Enlow. Nice high outside swing and out of bounds, looking for a touch again from Jones.
Baylor is having a tough time trying to establish their offense, I think, for 2 reasons. They're passing. They're not controlling the ball as well as they'd like to, Mitch. Ball control is real important for a young team, especially with a lot of freshmen. Also, their setter is a little bit inexperienced, and what would help her is to have good passes, and she'd do great.
And I think if Baylor would pass a little better, that they could take advantage of this matchup in the middle of Dawn Martin against Cheryl Dell. Serves again to Jenny DeLue. Looks like they're picking on the freshman. Ball's passed outside the 10-foot line. Dawn Martin up, swings down the line. Is Doug. Transition to the left side of Yarber, who hits cross court. Nice Doug. Great set by Enlow, high to the outside, and swinging out of bounds.
That was Cantrell hitting that ball. She came in on the last time out. Cantrell is just a freshman, a newcomer, yet another newcomer, I should say, to this Baylor squad.
A lot of new faces and tough time keeping up with these. Again, we have a timeout from Baylor. Well, Mary, what do you see here in this first part of the game? Rice leads at 10-1. Baylor hasn't passed the ball inside the 10-foot line yet.
I can't emphasize enough, that's a very good point you made right there, Mitch, that ball control, particularly with a young team, and at the beginning of the match, you've got to establish your game, and you do that through ball control. You have good passes to the setter, so she has options on where to hit. Baylor's not getting those good passes, and part of that could be for the tough serves from Rice.
Well, I would think so. Rice is generally known as a tough serving team. They come out and serve the ball low. And what kind of effect does Tricia Bowen have in serving, being 6'4"? Can she serve down at the net?
Tricia Bowen has a very nice floater serve. It's almost like a line drive. Some of the shorter girls you see floater serves that jig and jag to the left and right, but they're a little bit up above the net, which tend to go deeper in the court. Bowen can serve those line drives which causes some of the Baylor players to reach for the ball as it may be a little bit too high for them. And so they'll shank it, which means they pass it not straight, or they get it up, within 10 feet of the setter.
During the timeout, I saw Tom Sonicson talking a lot with his setter, Bonnie Enlow, probably giving her a little bit of words of encouragement and giving her a little instruction on what to do with the ball when it's passed outside the 10-foot line. Let's see what happens now. Tricia Bowen tees up, looking cross-court, going at Jenny DeLue again. Serves deep and out of bounds.
I'd say that was a good timeout by Tom Sonicson to kind of break the concentration of Bowen, who had scored several points in a row. Mitch, it looks like Baylor is going to bring Jones back into the lineup in the back row, replacing Brandy Cantrell, freshman.
Kathy Jones has a little bit more experience here in the back row and is probably a better ball handler. And I would think that she also serves a little tougher here. Let's see what she does with her serve. Jones sees it up, right-hand floater on the way, goes deep. Ball's passed outside the 10-foot line, left side again to Yarber. She hits a sharp angle and out of bounds.
Yarber is really swinging hard. She's got to concentrate on hitting the ball inbounds first. She's cutting it a little bit too wide. She's not snapping her wrist, and so the ball's going long.
Jones serves deep into the court, forces the pass outside the 10-foot line again to Yarber, and blocked out of bounds by Dan Martin. Dawn Martin just happened to put her hands in the wrong direction there again, but Yarber just swinging hard and swinging away. Katie Meyer, the setter, now goes back into the back row, and she'll continue to set from the back row, which will allow Rice to have 3 attackers. Katie Meyer tees it up. Goes after Kathy Jones.
Good pass.
Short back set to Dawn Martin. Swing, cross court. Bowen bumps up high to the outside. Free ball back over the net. Jenny DeLue calls the ball. Bonnie Enlow steps in, jumps, and Heather Martin swings, and we have a net foul on Tammy Trounsman, I believe.
Baylor needs to capitalize on Rice mistakes. They need to get a point here, serve hard, make Rice have a bad pass so they don't have a good set off
serves
it.
Short to middle of the court. Overhead set to Yarber again. Jones with the dig. Enlow jacks the ball up. Free ball back into the corner. Out of bounds.
Mental mistake. Free ball over the net. You've got to get it in the court. Sure, you want to make it tough so the team cannot transition on it, but you've got to get those free balls in. That's a mental mistake.
Yarber serving short into Jones. Enlow in the front row dumps the ball over. Quick to the middle. Great dig by Martin. Pushes the ball outside to Williams. Too far outside. Strikes with antenna.
Enlow trapped Williams on the set. It was a little too far outside. She had nowhere to go, and it brushed the antenna. Of course, in volleyball, you cannot hit the antenna with the ball or any part of your body anytime during the game.
Yarber goes after Jones again. Enlow with a tough set, has to set deep, free ball back over the net. An easy transition for Rice. Can they run? They run the X with 3 blockers for Baylor. Ball falls on the floor.
Nice combination by Rice. They capitalized on that free ball, ran an X where the middle blocker goes in for a quick set. The outside hitter swings around, hits the ball down.
Again, Yarber goes after Jones. Go for the quick just a little bit. Bonnie Enlow held the ball just a little bit too long in her hands and had the carry. Kevin McCullough quick on the whistle there. Yarber looks at Jones again, but decides to change, goes after Williams, a lot of pressure. Enlow with the high outside set, swings to the cross court. High outside set, and blocked back in. DeLue with her hands on the ball. Swing and an off-speed shot. Jones digs in the backcourt. Bonnie Enlow looking for the quick. DeLue just jakes the ball over, and it happens to get a touch and side out Baylor.
Baylor is doing a much better job in controlling the ball, Mitch. They're getting their passes up to Enlow. She needs to convert them to good sets. Give the hitters a chance to score.
Enlow looks to serve. She goes short. Makes Tricia Bowen pass the ball. Overhead set way outside. Blocked back into the court. Recovered. Jump and swing by Kaminsky. Enlow has trouble in transition and double hits the ball. Looks like Enlow and Kunst just had a little major collision there, eh?
Yeah, I think Bonnie Enlow may be getting a little bit frustrated. That frustration started with bad passes, and now that the passes are getting there, she needs to turn them around.
Cheryl Dell back to serve. Looks line. Right-hand floater deep, going after Jones again. Ball to the 10-foot line. Jump and swing. Doug overhead set, which we haven't seen much, and rips off the block. Touch. Jones just gets a finger on it.
Great hit by Tammy Trounsell on the outside. Again, she's just a redshirt freshman. She trained with the team last year. I believe she had some back problems.
It's game point here in game 1, and Cheryl Dell will serve for the first game. Dawn Martin is asking for the floor to be wiped up, it's probably in their best interest to have it slow down a little bit right now, wouldn't you think?
Cheryl Dell, I think, is a good choice for server right now. She was first on the team in aces per game last year, and now they're at game point with Dell serving.
Up, goes short after Heather Williams. Good pass, and ball is hit overhead. Heather Williams swings, and the ball hits the obstruction up ahead, which in this gym is, of course, out of bounds.
Baylor got a break that time. I believe that ball was going deep. Dell dug it up on the outside, so Baylor gets a side out.
Baylor's dug themselves a deep hole. Heather Williams jump serves again into the net, and that's the second time she's tried that in 2 errors.
I feel that if you're down by 2-14, you need to keep the ball in the court, Mitch. You need to keep it in play with a confident serve. I don't know if Heather's a little shaky right now, but important to serve the ball in when you're down by this much.
Jessica Williams into the game. She serves. Dawn Martin. Great pass right on the money. It's an outside set to Jones, and she swings and hits the ball down between the net and Tricia Bowen.
That should give Jones a lot of confidence. Hits down through Tricia Bowen, who's one of the best blockers in the conference.
She does get great penetration over the net quickly. Jenny DeLue, she tees up. Deep serve. Little trouble, but Bowen swings across the body. Ball is hit inside the 10.
It's a nice reach by Bowen. The ball was set a little bit past her, but she's so tall that she could just reach and pass it right across her body, tip it over the net.
When you are a senior, also it helps a lot, too, because you know where the block is, and you've seen it so many times. Baylor comes back at the middle. Bonnie Enlow to the outside. Recover nicely. Kathy Jones swings hard and off the block. Yarber with the dig, and Meyer with the dump. Here in transition, she just looks for that point and ends it all out. Well, that's the end of our first game here at St. Edward's University in the Whataburger Southwest Conference Showcase Classic with the score, Rice 15, Baylor 2. We're back at St. Edward's University, about to start game 2 of a match that features the Baylor Bears and the Rice Owls. And Rice took that game quite easily, Mary, and can we run down some of the stats very quickly?
Sure. As is evident of a 15-2 score and a 20-minute match, you'd think that Rice stats were rather incredible. And kills, Rice had 12 kills to Baylor's 6, and only 1 ace. Baylor didn't have any aces. I think the key here is Rice had 6 blocks. Baylor only had 1, so blocking was a big key in game number 1. They were pretty even on digs, Mitch, at 14 and 13.
Well, I would think that Baylor would have to receive serve better this time and put a little bit more pressure on Rice with their attack.
That's right, Mitch. They do need to control the ball, get the ball up to the setter. We talked about earlier how we thought the matchup in the middle would be key during this match, but looking at the statistics, the outside hitters for both teams are leading in kills. Nikki Yarber on the Rice squad has 4 kills, and Heather Williams for Baylor has 3. They're leading their teams.
Rice starts the game with Yarber, Dell, Kaminsky, Tricia Bowen, and Trounsel on the floor.
And, of course, Katie Meyer.
Krista Bossi is now in the lineup for Baylor Bears. She'll be hitting the middle position. Meyer with the serve.
Of course, we have Rice on the left in white, serving cross to the right, Baylor in green.
A much better pass to start off, but we still don't get a swing from Baylor. Meyer. Swing and stuff block. Immediately, Krista Bossi comes into the game and adds something with a stuff block.
I think that was a smart move by Coach Tom Sonnington. He needed to bring in some new blood. The team was down. They get in some new blood who has a lot of energy and do something like come in and block their first time up.
Williams to serve. Goes after the big middle player and tip in the middle by Dell.
Cheryl Dell is just a sophomore. Didn't have a lot of, well, she was one of the top substitutes last year. And they're training her to play in the middle now.
Yarber, who had a big run of points last time, serves deep cross court, going after the sophomore Heather Williams. DeLue on the outside. Yarber. Meyer with the set. Trapped inside and stuff blocked by Kathy Jones. That's the way to start off the game.
It sure is. That was a nice block. Baylor was right on top of the ball. They saw that it was set really far inside. They moved the block in and just blocked it straight down.
Bossi to serve. Comes with the top spin in the middle of the court. Overhead set, hit down the line. Enlow outside, DeLue with a swing, looking for a touch, but no, we have a net foul on number 1, Cheryl Dell. She was just a little anxious. Point
Cheryl
Baylor.
Dell's very, very aggressive player. She's going after that block on the outside hit. too far and hit the net.
Baylor starts the game 1-0. Topspin serve again. Right to Meyer, outside. Hit 3/4 speed. DeLu up and in low. Sets that ball out past the antenna again. We've seen that a couple times from her. Do you think that's just being a little anxious?
I think she is a little anxious. She needs to just relax a little bit and bring the balls inside. Let the players have a chance to do something with it.
Dell with a hard floater. DeLu right to the middle. Great combination by Inlow and Martin. High outside to DeLu again. Big block.
Bowen, 2 blocks in a row, and boy, she's intimidating up there.
4 hits on Baylor. Baylor just not able to control the ball. That is just a very humongous block that Rice has put up on their right side. Tammy Trounsden at 6'1", and Tricia Bowen at 6'4". Serve is long. Side out Baylor. Score is still 1-1. We've had several side outs here without too many points being scored. Jones with the serve. Goes hard cross court. Meyer sets deep and swinging into the net by Michelle Kamitsky. Didn't have a very good swing at that ball.
The ball was set deep and inside. She needs to get there and swing and hit high.
Point Baylor. It's now 2-1. Kathy Jones serves hard and deep. The ball is passed high, right to the middle to Bowen, and kaboom. She puts it away for the side out.
Martin was on Bowen that time. Bowen showed her honorable mention All-America status, I believe, from last year. Really powerful hitter, and as I said before, the tallest player in the conference. She can often hit right over the block, as she did in that case.
Jessica Williams continues to substitute into the game to serve and pass for the Rice Owls. She serves hard to Heather Williams. Martin on the swing and the tool out of bounds.
Martin's been very effective on the outside tonight, as she's hitting middle after transition, but on the outside and serve receive, and she's having a few kills in that outside position. DeLu, hard floater deep into the court for the ace, and Jenny DeLu puts Baylor at 3-1 with the service ace. Kamitsky tightened up a little bit on that serve receive. She needs to relax her arms, pass it up to the setter. Katie Meyer will do something with it.
Jenny DeLu comes right back at her head again. Jump set. Swing to the outside, Kamitsky, and she gets the touch for the kill, side out Rice.
I think we're going to have a substitution here, Mitch. On the right side, we have Karen Fasano.
Fasano into the game here. She's a junior outside hitter from Palatine, Illinois. Baylor runs a slide, and the swing is wide by Dawn Martin, who jumps up and down after that swing. I think she saw the angle and just happened to miss it. Kamitsky with the serve. Short. Inlow has to set the ball over the net. Fossey. Jump swing Williams. Roll shot to middle court. Block Martin. High outside. Tip. Martin jakes it up, and Bowen swings but happens to hit the net. She shows it with her hands on her head in frustration.
Oh, she knew she had a wide open hit. There was no blockers up, and that kill could be straight down, but her hand just hit the top of the net.
Baylor gets the side out, and quite a lucky one that one. That was a breakfast ball if we ever saw one, and she was about to rip city. Martin with the short serve going short after that. I saw Baylor practicing that early. It just happens to miss-hit the ball a little bit. Bowen with a big run of points in the first game. Serves the ball hard. In low, back row attack from Martin. Swings. Ball is jousted at the net.
Nice save by
DeLu,
Meyer.
free ball. And runs the quick to Krista Bossi.
Bossie's coming in and doing a great job for the Bears. She got the block to start off the game, and now she's hitting down. The Bears really need to establish their middle now, especially with Tricia Bowen in the back row.
Inlow goes to the back row and looks for the serve. Serve short. Middle. Oh, Cheryl Dell climbs high for the swing and the kill.
Oh, what a great play by Rice. The set was a little bit long, but it was delayed, and both blockers went up with the setter, and they were late. There was no block up. Could hit the ball straight down.
Mary, you don't see many 5'10" middle blockers in this conference, do you? And I think Cheryl Dell's just proven that you don't have to be the biggest player in the world to play this game.
That's right.
Swing, runs the X, and Williams swings and off Meyer for the side out.
Baylor starting to gain their confidence. Just as we said they needed to do. They're passing on the money. Inlow is getting the sets. They're starting to do some combination plays where the hitters switch positions to hit.
Both teams handling the ball a little bit better, allowing each other to side out here. Tight set, and Kevin McCullough calls it. There was interference on the set.
Excellent call. In volleyball, if the setter can get to the ball, if it's traveling over the net, but is still partially on her side of the net, she is not allowed to be blocked on that play, and that's what was called.
Casano to serve at Williams. In low, high outside to DeLue, swings hard, and just paints the line on the cross court.
I think Rice may have gotten their confidence built up a little too much after that 15-2 win in game number 1. They've got to start passing on the money to get their confidence back.
Fossey with the serve. Floater. Cheryl Dell continues to find holes in the middle of the Baylor block and rips the ball right to the floor.
Baylor block was concentrating in the middle, so they were late in getting outside and were not able to get the block up in time.
DeLue, in low. Martin. Lift called on in low. This is the third one this match.
The ball just rested in her hands a little bit, so Rice gets a point, and the score is only 3-3 here in game number 2.
Plenty of side outs, lots of action. Some serve short trouble. Ball is up, and McCullough calls a lift on the ball coming over the net. Just said that she caught it a little bit too much. Jones to serve. Score is 3-3. Serves short. Ball is set tight to Meyer, and Martin is up to touch it, and she blocks and tries to get back up off the ground and hits the ball into the net.
The Owls got a break on that one. The past 4 or 5 passes have been a little tight to the net for Meyer. She's not real tall. She can jump, but in order for her to control the ball as much as Coach Sokol would like for her to, the passes need to be a little bit more off the net so she can distribute it to any of the 3 hitters.
Jessica Williams back in the game as the serving specialist. The southpaw from Huntley, Illinois. In low to the outside. DeLue looking cross court, gets the fingers. Has trouble there, communication. Swings line, it's off, it's got pursuit. Ball is free ball back over the net. Rice goes to the slide to Bowen. She hits angle. DeLue, angle, touched. Close to the ceiling, controlled by Rice. Free ball over the net. In low to the outside, DeLue to the angle, and happens to hit the ball in the antenna.
Tough break. That was a great rally, the longest one of the match so far tonight. Both teams are starting to heat up on defense, Mitch, and digging those cross-court hits.
Williams to serve again. Rice leads this game 4-3. Williams on the money. Martin swings from the outside this time. Meyer to set to the outside. Kaminsky hits line. DeLue, it's a tight set, and goes for the line and hits wide.
Oh, what a smart look by DeLue. She saw the defenseman creeping up the line behind the block. The corner was wide open. She just hit it a little bit too wide.
We have a short run here by Rice of 3 points. Williams serves again to DeLue. In low, tight to the net. There's a joust. Jones.
Woo.
Meyer to the outside to Kaminsky. And swings and hits off the block. I believe she got Don Martin on the way down.
Again, Rice is utilizing the fact that Baylor has a small blocker on the outside there. And so they're pushing the ball outside to hit over top of her.
With the score 6-3, Baylor takes a timeout. This telecast is authorized under the rights granted to Home Sports Entertainment and is not intended for the commercial use of our viewing audience. Any reproduction of or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Southwest Conference is prohibited. Mary, we've seen both teams come out and control the ball a little bit better. I think that their nerves have settled a little bit, and they've got each other playing a little bit of side-out volleyball here.
I think that's a good point, Mitch. The first game was so fast. Both teams were a little bit raw, should we say, but Baylor has really turned things around from game number 1. They lost, of course, 15-2 in just 20 minutes, but now the score was just tied at 3 points ago. Of course, it's now 6-3. But Baylor, like I said, is doing a good job. They're getting their confidence back, Mitch. They're passing to in-low, and so she has more options to set.
Well, when you pass that ball to the setter, it makes things a little bit easier, and the setter doesn't get so darn tired out. You get a little bit tuckered out running around there on the floor. Williams back to serve again. Bounces twice. Serves hard deep. In low. Pass off to Mark Jones in the back row. Looking for Bowen in the middle. What a target. Great dig by Williams. DeLue swings cross court, gets fingers. Meyer to the outside to Kaminsky. swings the middle block. We have a net foul to end the rally by Bonnie Enlow.
I think Enlow's shirt was in the net. Boy, both teams are really starting to heat up now. We're seeing longer and longer rallies. They're playing tough defense and hitting hard.
Williams serves. Williams to Williams. Over the net. Swing by Bowen.
One thing you don't want to do when Trisha Bowen's in the front court is pass over the net. She's right there, and boy, she's going to put the ball down if you pass over.
I'm not sure I'd want to be in the game when she's in the front court, Mary. Williams to serve again. She serves 5 straight points as they wipe up the floor here. Williams got a tremendous look of determination on her face. Right hand floater short to Williams. Back set to DeLue. Swings hard cross court. Doug. Meyer to the outside. Swing off. Chicken wing dig. And we have that ball coming off the block and into the antenna for a point to Rice.
Just nicked the antenna off the Baylor block.
Looks like Sonicson is making a setting switch here and bringing in Liz Hatfield, who is a redshirt sophomore. See if she can, I think that she'll add a little bit more athletic ability to this team and see if she can light a fire under it.
Sonicson said that Hatfield was one of the most improved players from spring practice this past year.
Williams with the serving error, a rare one for Rice in this game. DeLue serves deep. Comiskey has to pass and swing. Jones with the dig. High outside to Williams. Cross-court dig to the middle. Quick set to Bowen, and it's crushed for the kill.
Ragged block by Baylor. Martin has got a key on Bowen. Both middle blockers now. Martin's across from Bowen. She knows she's going to get the ball 70% of the time. She's got to make sure she's there for the block.
DeLue with the pass. Jump set to the outside. Williams swings hard cross-court. Martin up, and it's a little joust, a minor joust. Fasano with the swing, Martin with the hands, Rice recovers. High to the outside, it's going to be swung, and it's long, looking for fingers, but nobody can reach that high.
Hatfield coming in for Baylor and setting and doing a good job right from the beginning. Of course, Baylor's setter graduated last year, so Sonicson's going to be juggling the lineup, see which setter can pull the duties this year.
Martin serves short and tough serve. Bossy is up, and Hatfield jumps with the little left-handed poke and gets the point.
Smart heads-up play by Hatfield there. She's the setter, but she's in the front row, so she can be utilized also as a hitter.
Tremendous athlete, Elizabeth Hatfield, and great springy legs allows her to jump up there hard. Martin with the serve. Fasano has to pass and hit. Block. Bossy. Fasano again with the swing. She tips and finds empty spot with Williams scraping the skin on the floor.
Heads-up play. We haven't seen much tipping yet tonight, but if it's as effective as that, I think both teams might rethink their philosophies on what they're doing in the front row right now.
Mary, I think both these teams think that tipping is a place in China. We have Lowenthal into the game for Rice. Great job there by the setter of Baylor's. Just takes the jump set and dumps the ball over the net. That's the advantage of jump setting every ball, wouldn't you say, Mary?
Sure, and that was good hustle by Jessica Williams on defense. She's just a freshman for Rice, but she is doing a super job playing an all-around game in the front court and back court.
Liz Hatfield does her job and comes back out of the game. Bonnie Enlow back in to serve. She goes short into Fasano. Fasano with the line swing and hit and tooled out of bounds.
Such a smart play again. If you hit the ball off the block to a point where the players cannot play it, it's an automatic side out. Very smart hit.
Call that the craft special, using the tool there. Meyer with the serve. To Enlow. Jones out of bounds, and she gets the touch. The High Plains drifter shot, just reaching there for those fingers.
What happened there was Terry Lowenthal went to block it, and although the ball was hit real high, it grabbed the top of her fingertips.
Williams serves, scores 4-9. Rice is leading. High outside. Fasano with the swing. Martin to the floor. Jones with a high outside set, and we have the tip. Little confusion on the floor.
Well, I think there was a lot of confusion in that whole rally, Mitch. I don't know if anyone was controlling the ball like they'd like to.
Well, sometimes in my old coaching days, we called that ugly volleyball, and I think that we just had a little bit of case in that, and I hope coaches don't want to see too much of that. Fasano with the serve deep to Williams. Enlow with the jump set. She's called for the double hit again.
Double hit, point, right.
Halo's putting too much pressure on herself, Mitch. If she just relaxed a little bit, she'd be just fine. She's starting to get the passes now that she didn't have in the first game.
Rice leads this one 10-4. Fasano to serve.
Fasano.
To Williams. To the overhead to Bossy. Cross court for the kill. Just ricochets right off of Bowen's hands there.
The difference in this game number 2 so far is kills. Rice leads 10-4, and they also lead in the kills category. They have 23 kills to Baylor's 14.
Bossy to serve. Floater. Meyer. Kaminsky hard cross court with the dig by Williams. Trying to run the quick on the transition, but Lowenthal and Meyer just did not connect.
Lowenthal, the freshman's a little green. She needed to recognize that the pass was a little off and wait a little bit before she went up. She went up early, so the set went right over her.
Bossy brings the Bears back to within 5. Overhead set. Williams takes a big, hard swing from the right side and tools off the block out of bounds from the side out right.
I tell you, I'm really impressed with Jessica Williams. As we said, she's just a freshman from Illinois. She played on one of the top USCBA junior teams in the Midwest last year before coming to Rice.
Sports Performance puts them out year after year. And something we'd like to discuss a little bit later is the club teams in Texas, how they've come on. Jones with the swing cross court. Traps it inside. Bowen just reaches high and snaps the ball off inside the 10-foot line.
Bowen hasn't had well, she's had enough kills, but I don't think they've been using her as much as they have been in the past, Mitch.
We have the second timeout taken by Baylor at 11-5, and what was once a close game seems that Rice has come on out and opened this thing up with a 6-point lead, Mary.
To tell the truth, I think what happened was by winning by such a large margin in the first game, Rice gained a lot of confidence and perhaps too much. Baylor came out firing in the second game that we're in now, and were able to keep the score pretty even up to about 5. Rice may have been playing a little bit too easy, but now they're back and they're serious, and they scored 6 straight points in a row.
So concentration has to be a key, and the buzzword for the 90s is to focus out here on the volleyball court. Debbie is giving her team some instructions, talking a little bit about tactical stuff. They have continued here, and there's Tom Sorensen doing the same over to his side. Looks like he's talking to Liz Hatfield, maybe bringing her back into the game.
Of course, we are in game number 2. Rice has the lead 11-5, and in collegiate volleyball, we play the best 3 out of 5.
Dell will serve again. Baylor would like to establish some sort of rhythm here. Baylor passes the court with only 2 players here, which is the way that our men's national team started in 1984. Dell, short serve to Williams. Over the net, and it's breakfast ball to Bowen.
Cannot pass over the net with Bowen in the front row. Boy, with being the biggest player in the conference, she's not going to let that one go by.
I could hit if they did that to me. Dell serves, high outside. DeLue to swing, the little roll shot, and tried to pancake the ball, but the ball hit the floor first.
Denny DeLue's been doing a good job for the Bears tonight. She also is just a freshman. We sure have a lot of freshmen out on the court tonight, don't we?
It's a lot of new faces to learn this year in the Southwest Conference. Jones goes for the serve, top spin with a side spin, and she gets the ace.
The ace is a great motivation and momentum builder. Should they get another ace, they can catch up to 12, I tell you right here.
Jones comes from West Texas, and I believe this is the Texas Twister serve. Top spin serve, and again she gets Dell on the floor. Just up, and Baylor is not able to convert the easy ball back over after such a tough serve by Jones.
That was a great serve. Meyer was a little lucky in reaching out and popping it outside, and they were able to save it and get it over the net, and Baylor could not convert.
Williams has made it all the way through this rotation. It's back to serve again. Last time this rotation, she went after Williams. It was the Williams to Williams serve. We have a substitution again in here. Elizabeth Hatfield comes in for Bonnie Enlow on the front row, and that's perhaps to give them a little bit better block.
Jessica Williams.
Williams to DeLue. Outside to Martin. Roll shot. Meyer, oh, miscommunication there. Hatfield, DeLue, swings hard cross court. Kaminsky with the swing, rejected. One arm Jake. Free ball to Hatfield, who dumps. Quick transition. Free ball back over the net. Rice can execute here. Slide Bowen, tip to the floor. Not a lot of ball control again, but the Rice players seem to be having a good time.
There are a few free balls in that point played right there, and Rice was able to convert finally. Bowen's not getting the set right where she needs it. She's having to reach for it and therefore tip, although the tipping has been quite effective.
Williams to serve again. Williams to Williams. Hatfield, DeLu on the left side, swings to the line, blocked, up again, free ball.
Another free ball to Rice.
Meyer, tight set. Penetration by Hatfield. Set not able to control it. Outside DeLu with no approach and swings and hits into the net.
Again, Baylor is starting to get a little panicky here, I think, as we are at game point 14-6. They need to calm down and just control the ball and get the side out right here. Get off of 6.
We have a little bit of confusion on the Baylor side, and Williams to serve for game point. Outside, Martin swings hard across court. Dug on the money, transition to Bowen, who hits down inside the block for game point 15.
Martin set to the bread and butter for game point. Bowen's leading all teams and both teams in kills right now as she ends game number 2.
We'll be back with more Southwest Women's Conference Women's Volleyball after this.
As we can see, you see number 7, Liz Hatfield there on the right. She's going to be setting this match. Perhaps that'll make a difference here on the court. To get better passes to her, she can dish the sets out a little bit. Let's look at the stats real quickly. The difference in this game, kills and blocks. Rice had 29 kills to 17 for Baylor, and blocks 11 for Rice, 7 for Baylor.
Well, you certainly can't win with those kind of statistics, and Baylor needs to continue to come out in the third game like they did in the second and continue to push and press. It'll all start with Dawn Martin here serving. It looks as though neither team has substituted much for this third game, and we're ready for the action in the third game here to start. Dawn Martin backs up. Serves deep. Ball pass straight up and down, high outside. Fasano swing, Bossy with the block. Martin, Jones, 3-blocker attempt. Middle 2, toss, tip, and out of bounds by Dell.
That's too bad it was out of bounds. It was a smart heads-up play. When the outside blocker comes in to help out in the middle, she opens up a spot on the floor, and you can tip it right down to it, and nobody's there.
Rice also blocking that time with 3 blockers. Trouble with pass and swing and hit out of bounds by Trounsel.
Trounsel's a redshirt freshman, a big girl at 6'1". She swings hard. That time it's a little bit deep.
Baylor leads this game 2-0. Martin with the deep serve on Bowen. Swing to the outside of Trounsel, and she hits a rainbow out of bounds.
Again, I think she's a little early on the set, Mitch, and so she's getting underneath of it, and she's not able to hit it down. And Rice is going to take a quick timeout as Baylor goes to an early 3-0 lead. Very quick timeout by Rice. They don't want to let this one go away. And we will be back with more volleyball, and it will continue after this. We are back after the timeout by Rice. Baylor, in the meantime, has scored 1 point. They lead 4-0. Dawn Martin serves deep. Ball straight up and down. DeLu. Bossy with the left-hand tip. Up to Joust with the one hand. Swing, dig by DeLu on the floor. Jones. Free ball. Fasano on the outside. Swing. Free ball by Bossy. Really hustling now.
And Baylor wins the rally.
Mitch, what a difference confidence makes. You can see the turnaround right now. Baylor's up 5-0 after losing the first 2 games. It's all about confidence.
Dawn Martin continues to serve here. She has served all 5 of the Baylor points, putting a lot of pressure on the Rice Owls with the deep serve.
We're waiting for the Owls to wipe up the floor. So
it's a little warm in here, and they happen to perspire a lot, and we wouldn't let any of the players be slipping on a wet spot. Dawn Martin to serve. And Dawn Martin with the ace. What a turnaround by these Baylor Bears.
Up 6 points. They could very well take this game should they keep their momentum and their tough serving. They've got to also block well because Rice's bread and butter is hitting. So if they can shut them down there, Mitch, boy, they've got this game.
Another pass that's off the mark. Tip. And just can't get a hand on the ball by Krista Bossi.
Baylor's been doing such a good job digging in and digging those hard hits that Rice mixed it up a little bit, a tip, and it worked.
Pisano to serve. DeLu on the money. Williams with the swing, and swings and tools out of bounds to give the ball back to the Baylor Bears.
Baylor still has a 6-0 lead. Of course, we're in game number 3, and Rice took the first 2 games rather handily.
Hatfield the setter. Kaminsky passes. Dell on the left side hits the ball off Williams' hands and out of bounds.
Sit for Tad.
Cheryl Dell gets the serving signal from the coach. Goes short. DeLu to the outside. Jones with a hard swing. Back to the middle. Bossi. DeLu. Williams with a roll shot that doesn't clear the net.
Williams turned around real quickly. I'm not sure she was aware of how far off the net she was, and the ball didn't quite make it up to the net. So Rice finally gets on the scoreboard, 1-6.
We have Kathy Jones here tying her shoe at the moment. Rice has to get back in this game with serving and blocking, don't you think, Mary?
That's exactly right. Its defense is the best offense as far as blocking goes, and serving can be easy points if you can get that ace.
Dell with the serve. Williams to the middle with Bossi. Doug, transition, and one blocker. Bossi, single block. Free ball, easy transition. DeLu outside to Jones, who hits the angle on the cross play.
Nice crossing play there by Baylor. They had a great pass up to the setter, and they were able to bring the outside hitter around to the middle and hit the ball, cut it back for the side out.
Baylor continues to look like a different team here as they lead this game 6-1. Williams with the jump serve. Bossi with the kill.
Great serve by Williams. She's finally able to get that jump serve in and put even more pressure on the Owls. The Owls are starting to panic a little bit now. Mitch, they're down 6 points. The score is 7-1.
Williams with the jump serve, but it floats. Meyer to Bowen, and side out.
And what do you do when you're down on the Rice team? You go to Bowen.
Go to your big gun, most definitely. And if they can't stop it, you continue to go. We have a little perspiration on the floor again. Both teams continue to play defense and going to the floor a lot. Williams with the serve. Martin, tight. Jones with the tip. Meyer. Kaminsky with the swing. DeLu just happens. Krista Bossi goes up and swings with her left hand and happens to hit the ball out of bounds. Tough thing to do when you're a right-handed attacker, Mary.
Something happened. There's a side out. I believe there was a net foul. So Baylor gets another break, and boy, they're screaming and jumping for joy. They have so much confidence and momentum on their side right now. They need to capitalize on that by continuing to serve tough and block.
We have a substitution into the game for the first time. Andrea Andrus will come in for Krista Bossi. She's from Pearl City, Hawaii. She's a freshman. She was a high school all-conference player of the year and honorable mention all-state as a senior. The serve to Bowen, and swings and hits the angle down. Again, the Owls continue to go to Bowen.
That may have been the first time she hit out tonight. Her hitting efficiency must be really high right now.
Andis. Bowen, and Rip City cross the body, gets the kill.
Bowen leads all players in kills right now, as she had throughout the entire match.
If Rice could continue to keep her in the front row and continue to set her, they'd be doing well. We have a double substitution from Rice here. Amy Burkholt comes in to serve, as well as Nikki Arbor. DeLu on the outside, rejected by Bowen.
Bowen put that ball straight down. Baylor needs to cover their hitter a little closer. In other words, they know with Bowen in the front row blocking, they've got to squeeze in where the hitter's hitting. In case it's blocked, they can dig it right back up.
Amy Burkholt Ball set tight, and Hatfield does a tremendous job of going up and get the ball, but Martin swings out of bounds.
Nice reach by Hatfield on the set. It was a tough pass, a little close to the net, and so the ball was hit a little wide.
Burkhold with the serve. Hatfield off the net. A lot of caution by Jones. She hit a very heavy ball there, Mary, for the side out.
Jones is only 5'9", but she can sure jump. Last year, she was 3rd on the team in kills and total attacks.
Coming in with her Texas Twister serve, and it's in the net. Kind of a little bit different technique where she stands facing off the court and hits a slice through the ball. Bowen to serve. She sure had a run of points in the first game. Let's see what she can do here with Rice down 3-8. Hatfield in and just being a little bit deceptive as the front row setter and dumps the ball for the side out.
Rice was on their heels that time. They should have recognized that Hatfield was now in the front row and hence an eligible hitter.
DeLue serves into the net.
Baylor has served the last 2 or 3 balls in the net, Mitch, and that's really not good. You know, they got real confident with a good lead, but Rice can take advantage. What they're doing is giving a free ball back to Rice, giving them the opportunity to score, and they don't want to do that.
Meyer with the serve.
Of course, Rice turns around and does the same thing.
Sometimes when you're serving tough, those things happen, but you'd rather see those serves go long. Baylor with the substitution into the game. We have Brandy Cantrell into middle block.
Another freshman.
To the middle, and
that was
Brandy
Dell,
gets initiated into the game by Cheryl Dell ripping the ball down.
Great pass, great set, great hit. And a good combination on all 3 sides there.
Yarber to serve. Right-hand floater short to the cross court. Hits the seam between DeLue and Martin for the ace. Rice is slowly coming back into this game. Score is now 4-8. Another substitution for Baylor. Krista Bossi will now come in for Cantrell. I think Coach Sorensen liked the success he had between Hatfield and Bossi. Serve to Williams over the net, and we just have a swing and a whiff by Amy Burkholder.
We had 2 hungry hitters there. Both Dell and Burkhold went up to swing. And they kind of missed it. I think they hit each other.
That little thing looked too big. Hatfield with the serve to Bowen. Shanks. Down ball. DeLue. Hatfield to the outside. Williams hits the angle. Bossi tips and finds the open spot right on the middle of the court.
Heads up play by Bossi, jumping across the court to hit that ball over the net. It was an overpass from the dig, and she was right on top of it.
Hatfield serves as the Bears lead 9-4. High and deep floater. On the mark with the pass, overhead, crush, and got down between the blocker's hands and the net.
Cheryl Dell and Katie Meyer.
Cheryl Dell comes in with that quick arm swing and just catches the blockers without penetrating over the net. Dell with the serve. It's deep. Martin has trouble controlling. Krista Bossi takes and swings at a head. Takes a chance.
Bossi is really on top of her game right now. She's had 3 kills in the past, I'd say 4 points.
Timeout by Rice as Baylor leads this game 9-4. And I would say that Tom Sorensen has to be a lot more happy with his players right now.
I believe that's true. They jumped up to an early 6-0 lead, which is really remarkable when you consider they lost the first game 15-2, as you see now on the screen, and the second game 15-6. Rice is inching their way back point by point, and now they're only 5 away. But what Baylor needs to do is capitalize on their lead and their momentum and their confidence, Mitch. They need to serve tough and block.
Well, I would believe you there because I see Baylor exhibiting a lot of excitement out here on the floor, and every time they serve a point, they happen to celebrate, and I believe that brings a lot of momentum to the team here.
That also can affect the other team. When Rice is down and they see the other team blocking and digging them, they say, what else can we do to this team? And it's been tough so far in this game. We'll have to wait and see what happens here.
Well, we'll also make note that Tricia Bowen is back into the front row, and we would expect that Rice would like to go to their All-American candidate if they could.
Bowen leads all hitters and kills right now with 13, and on the Baylor side, we've got DeLue, just a freshman, who's leading with 6 kills.
Williams to serve. Jump serve on the way. Deep to the corner. Pass off the mark and swing. Flogged ball by Burkholt. High outside to DeLue. Meyer to Bowen. Low set. Burkholt, another swing and a miss.
Burkhold, I think, is a little green, too. She's a freshman from Michigan. She got a little under that ball, anxious to hit it, and it hit right off her fingertips.
Heather Williams, jump serve on the way, and happens to hit the ball off the side of her hand and into the antenna. After missing her first two, she's been quite effective with that jump serve.
Rice will take a chance to pull within 5 now. They're down 4-10, game number 3.
Williams to serve, DeLu over the net, and Bowen swings and catches the line.
Bowen has at least 4 kills on that overpass, which converts to 4 points for Rice. That's in the match tonight.
Williams serve, and happens to serve long. Great eyes by the Baylor players. Don Martin back there calling that ball. Coach Sorensen elects to let Krista Bossi stay in and serve this time. Top spin. Meyer to Bowen, and kaboom.
Bowen is showing her dominance now. She can really hit down, especially against a smaller blocker. And if she's only got one blocker up, she has the ability to cut either way over that blocker because of her height and her leaping ability.
Burkholt to Williams. Tipped by Martin and out of bounds. Baylor continues to pass that ball very, very tight to the net here.
You see Liz Hatfield, the setter, calling the play there. That's number 2, which is a 2 ball, is about set 2 foot above the net.
Jones with swing and catches the hand with the tool out of bounds.
Baylor again will take an opportunity to get to a 5-point lead. They're up 10-6. Need to serve tough here.
Jones getting a serving signal here. Coach telling her to scoot back. Jones sees it up. Flat serve and out of bounds. Can't be too happy about that, giving Rice easy side outs here. But the benefit is that the good part of it is Trisha Bowen's off the front line again. Trisha Bowen serve to Williams. Passes off the mark. Martin. Tip. And Nikki Yarber makes a rare hitting error for her tonight, but I believe that that set was just a little bit off the mark, Mary.
That set was so far outside that all she could do was try to hit along the net, and she was just short.
Jenny DeLu to serve. Meyer outside to Yarber. Tools off the block. Williams gets a hand on it, but not enough meat.
Williams could have been down a little deeper in a defensive position. She may have had that ball. I think she was caught sitting on her heels a little bit there.
As we look at Nikki Yarber, telling them where the attackers are at.
Rice is slowly catching up. They now trail by 4.
Meyer to serve. Williams passes the ball over the net. Meyer not in position. Back sets the ball. Yarber off the head of Martin. Bossi straight up. And Hatfield just elects to quick kick the ball over the net.
Freshman mistake. Burkhold wasn't sure if that ball was out or in. She should have had some teammates talking to her, and it was right over her head and in the court. Very rare on a free ball, Mitch.
Well, I guess we'll give that one a Creative Play of the Day award. Here we got a substitution for Rice as Michelle Kaminsky comes back into the game for Amy Burkhold. Dawn Martin scoots way back. Meyer overhead to Yarber and swings wide.
Strong hit by Nikki Yarber. She hasn't really been in her groove yet. She's been hitting hard but not down enough. If she would concentrate on hitting the ball in the court, she alone could bring Rice back into this match.
Baylor within 4 points of the game here, leading 11-6. Outside to Williams with the roll shot. Meyer on the floor. Swing off the hands into the middle of the court.
Yarber finally hitting down. She hit right through Bossi's block for the side out. Rice is keeping this match alive here. They're fighting tooth and nail for every point.
Short serve. DeLu handles it over the net again. Dell. Hatfield up on the block. Up low and swings out of bounds. It looks to me as Coach Sonicsen's move to put a little bit bigger block in has forced the Rice hitters to have to take a little bit more of a chance. Hatfield. Overhead to Dell. Blocked. And back into the court for a point.
I believe that ball was going out of bounds. As you see Heather Williams there with the block. That ball was going out of bounds and she didn't play it up. That it could have been a side out for Rice. But now Baylor pulls within 3 of taking this game.
Hatfield looking for a serving signal from Coach Sonicsen. The blockers are up at the net calling their blocking signals to which angle of the court they like to block as Rice wipes up the perspiration on the floor. Short serve. Straight up inside trap set. It's got to be a tip. Block back in. Nice recovery from Rice. DeLu. Outside swing to Williams. She spanks the ball, finds the seam between the two back row players.
The difference in this match so far has been Liz Hadfield. The team was struggling the first 2 games. She came in game number 3 and has really turned these Bears around.
Hadfield with the ace, which takes Baylor to within 1 point of the 3rd game. Baylor leads this game 14-16. Serving signal. Good concentration by Hadfield.
Hadfield can take the game here with a tough serve.
Outside swing. And we find the middle of the court, Michelle Kaminsky does. She earns Rice a side out and also earns Cheryl Dell a chance to come back into the game and serve as Rice is down 6-14.
Got to get this serve in, or otherwise the other team with game point, you're just giving them the ball back and the opportunity to take the game.
Martin, oh, tough ball for Hadfield to handle, and she can't quite get the grips on it, and point to Rice.
Great serve by Cheryl Dell. She needs to keep that up to get Rice back into this game if they want to win the match now.
Dell serves. Jones on the outside with a roll shot. Nice up. But just not high enough.
Good hustle by Kaminsky, number 7, on the outside there, but couldn't quite get the ball up and convert it. So Williams will go back and serve for game point.
A little groveling going on defense there. Top spin jump serve by Williams, and she just launches that one halfway to the door.
Game point. It's good to serve tough. You got to serve in.
Hatfield calls the plays as Williams gets ready to serve. Williams to DeLu. Back set to Bossy. She hits over top the block and off.
What a great hit by Bossy, Mitch. You see she got way back, about 12 feet back on the court before she was set. She waited till the set was nice and low and just stormed in and put everything into it, and it was a kill.
Bossy with the serve. Top spin down the line. To Bowen. Where else?
Now that Bowen's in the front row, Mitch, Rice has a much better chance of catching up in points. They trail by 7 now, but they can do it, I believe, with Bowen in the front row, hitting and blocking.
Kaminsky to serve deep. Great handle by Williams. Jones. Angle.
Nice
off the arm
hit. That's right, Mitch. Excuse me. Nice cross-court hit by Jones, and now she'll go back and serve again for game point.
Baylor's been stuck here on game point for quite some time. Jones serves. Again to Bowen with the soft tip. She's got them sitting so far back on their heels. She comes in with the soft shot.
Nice tip by Bowen. She knows that the Baylor defense is back on their heels waiting for that hard hit, and she just tips right over them, a little finesse.
Bowen to serve here as Rice trails 7-14 in the 3rd game. DeLu. Jump set to DeLu, and maybe not the wisest choice by Hadfield there as DeLu had just handed the ball, and point for Rice.
That was a little bit far
back. Timeout taken by Baylor as Baylor leads this game 14-8.
It's a smart choice to take a timeout now by Tom Sonicson, the Baylor coach. You know, Baylor has been on top this entire game, and I think it's in part due to Liz Hadfield. But Rice is starting to turn the game around now, gaining point by point, slowly catching up to Baylor, and that, I believe, is due to Bowen being in the front row now, Mitch.
Well, I would think so, and if Baylor has any chance here, I think that they should do it while Tricia Bowen is in the back row, and I think that probably what Tom is telling his team right now is just to relax and, hey, you know, we continue to get side outs here. We're doing real well, and once we get to serve, let's serve tough and win this darn game so we can go to 4.
That's right. Right now, Baylor, I believe, is receiving from serve, and they have a 6-point lead, and they're just 1 point from taking game number 3, in which case you would go to 4 games. Rice had such a commanding lead in the first 2 games. Baylor's done a great job in turning it around. They're going to come back from a timeout now, try to receive serve and get the side out so they get the ball back.
Well, now, Bowen is back ready to serve. Baylor finally breaks their huddle. Hatfield's calling her signals and plays. Bowen tees it up, toss, right-hand floater on the way, deep to DeLu, off to Mark, and DeLu swings hard. Dig, Bowen set. Yarber with the swing cross court. Great dig moved by Jones. Tip Martin. Yarber to swing. Dig Jones. Hadfield tracks that ball down. Yarber to Dell.
They're picking up these tips real well.
And DeLu finally puts the ball down for the side out.
It's so important for Baylor to side out there. Should Rice have gotten another point, Baylor's confidence may have dropped a little bit because all the momentum there was going to Rice, but now Baylor has yet another choice to terminate this match with this serve. Excuse me, this game.
This game here. Jenny DeLu going back to serve. Katie Meyer running her team, trying to get them to side out. Competitive. Side swing to Yarber, and she finds a big gaping hole in the block and just drills the ball from the middle of the floor.
That's exactly right. There was a big hole in the block between Hadfield and Martin, and she was able to find the seam between the block where there were no defenders.
Perspiration on the floor as Rice wipes this up. And who does that favor in this type of game when Baylor's sitting at 14? I think that it probably favors Rice and where they get to take a little bit of time here. Meyer to serve. Hadfield continue to go to the outside to Williams. Swing. Meyer. Yarber, and stop block rejected. Martin and Hadfield.
Hadfield's just doing a fabulous job in both setting and blocking. Rice is going outside to try to hit over Hadfield since she's a smaller player, but she's saying, no way, you're not hitting over me.
Dawn Martin serving again for the game. Meyer to Dell, and Dell makes the hitting error. Baylor wins the third game, 15-8. You're watching Southwest Women's Volleyball on HSE, the best team on TV. We're back at St. Edward's University, where the Baylor Bears have just taken game 3 from the Rice Owls, 15-8. Rice leads the match 2-1, and Baylor seemed to make a very big resurgence in game 3, and what can we attribute that to, Mary?
I really believe that setter Liz Hadfield came in and turned the match around for Baylor. They were down 2-0. Rice won the first game 15-2 in only 20 minutes, and the second 15-6, also only in 20 minutes. But Liz Hadfield, sophomore, I believe she's a sophomore, she came in and the team started passing better and she started setting better, and all of a sudden the whole team had more confidence, and that went around Liz Hadfield coming into the match.
Well, I would say she was a big spark for the Baylor Bears. They added a lot of excitement in there. I would think also maybe that Rice had a little bit of letdown in concentration during that match that caused them to miss a few balls serving and passing.
I believe that's true, and now the true test will be who will win game number 4 after all these changes in momentum and in confidence.
Rice is out on the floor ready to play. Baylor breaks her huddle and comes on out.
Get a look at the crowd here. It's a rather dense crowd. We're playing, of course, at St. Edward's University, home to neither Rice nor Baylor, but we're at the Whataburger Southwest Conference Showcase Tournament.
Individual leaders for this match is Bowen leads kills with 17 for Rice. Jenny DeLu, 7 for Baylor. In digs, Dell leads for 7 with Rice, and Heather Williams has an amazing 11 digs in 3 games.
Williams, a phenomenal all-around player. She can play front row, she can dig. I bet she could even set if they put her in the setter position.
And they just darn might. Katie Meyer will start off serving here in game 4. The score is 0-0. DeLu, tough set to handle. Bossie's up for the joust, she misses, and we have a net foul from...
I believe that was on Krista Bossie.
I believe it was.
Mitch, in this game, both teams are going to be very, very aggressive. So you're going to see a few net fouls, a few serves going out of bounds. They're both going to be very aggressive.
To DeLu again, she shanks the pass for a point Baylor. For a point for Rice.
So Rice takes an early lead, just as Baylor did in game number 3, and now Rice is up 2-0.
Meyer to serve, going after Williams, short to the middle of the court. Tough ball to handle. It's hit from the back row. Martin. Transwell sets the outside and tipped and rejected Bossie. She hung up there for a lifetime.
Super block by Krista Bossie. She waited until the set was coming down, blocked it straight down. No hope of digging that ball up.
Baylor gets off the mark and gets to a side out. Hadfield serves. Yarber. Trouncil, jump set, missed timing play by Hadfield and Bossie.
Tough set for Bossy to get to. It was a little close to the net, and she was a little far from the net. She couldn't quite reach it. So Rice will get the side out.
Yarber to serve. Deep to Williams. It's off the mark again. Baylor having trouble passing, and the ball is bumped over the net by Hadfield.
That was
and
a
Rice
nice
just couldn't handle
save,
it.
nice reach by Liz Hadfield. I think Kaminsky was expecting that ball to be out of bounds, and so she just stopped playing and hence hit the ball into the middle of the net.
Williams with the serve. And Williams gets the ace.
Tough serve by the sophomore.
She also gets Trish Bowen on the floor, and that's a lot of sweat. Heather Williams is a product of Amarillo, and she played her club volleyball for Mid-Cities and finished third in the country that year. She was a third-team All-American selection at the Junior National Championships that year. Yarber with the pass, and Williams with 2 aces in a row.
Williams, last year as just a freshman, finished 8th in the Southwest Conference in aces per game, and it's showing right now.
Williams, deep breath. Comes right back after Bowen again. Tight to Meyer, outside. Kaminsky off top block. Hadfield. DeLue, cross court, hits that short court, and out of bounds. It's a point for Baylor.
Mitch, both teams are doing a much better job here than in game number 1 in controlling the ball. If they're off balance when they're hitting, they're rolling it over the net. They're not just swinging out of bounds. Both teams are doing a good job now of controlling
Williams
the ball.
just a little long. Williams goes back and serves 3 straight points. Side out Rice. Dell to serve.
Again, Dell was first on her team last year in aces per game. Let's see if she can get some more points on the board here.
Sure, we're going to see plenty of tough serve in this match. Baylor runs the X. It's up. Kaminsky, easy shot, and Martin just can't get 2 hands on the ball. As she gives Kevin McCall a little look about, didn't he? She thought that there was a little something funny happening there at the net. Score is 3-3. Cheryl Durr serving. Overhead to Bossy, high off the block, and Dell just can't pursue that one down.
Is there an interference play in volleyball, Mitch? It looks like the lines judge is a little slow in getting out of the way there.
I think we have to get a little bit quicker feet with those line judges and do a little bit of lateral testing with them before the match. Bossy to serve. To Bowen, and quick kill across her body.
Bowen, the Terminator. We need to give her the nickname of Terminator. Boy, she puts that ball down almost every time she gets set.
She brought the heater tonight.
17 kills. It makes that 18 kills so far in this match. Really a phenomenal output. She holds the Rice record for most kills in a match. I believe it was 36 against New Mexico State last year.
Carrie Swank into the game for Rice. Hadfield to DeLue. Swings. Trouble, nobody to go to. Meyer, roll shots over.
Good hustle.
Can't fire defense. Free ball over, and Bowen almost gets away with one. I think the referee, Kevin McCullough, had to think about that one.
Bowen's having such a great night in hitting. Maybe she thought she'd try her luck in setting. What do you think?
Well, you know, when middle blockers can't play anymore at the net, they become setters, and then setters become the coaches. So I guess she's just trying to get an early start on her retirement. Sidewinder serve. Tipped by Bowen, rejected Martin. Tip over the net and falls for a kill.
That was a bit lucky on Yarber's part. At least that time, Mitch, she didn't jump and swing hard and hit out of bounds. She had that problem a few times earlier in this match when the set was not right there. She controlled the ball this time, rolled it right over the net.
Karen Fasano comes into the game for Michelle Kaminsky to serve, the southpaw from Illinois. Oh, this is the right-hander. Bad set in the middle, and nobody can get to it.
Not sure what happened there. The set was a little off. It was real high and not quite outside, and there was a little confusion amongst the hitters there on whose ball it was.
Fasano to serve with Rice leading this game 4-3. DeLue to the cheap seats, and DeLue to swing.
Nice dig.
Meyer to Bowen, and she gets the paintbrush shot and just falls.
You have to give the credit there to Carrie Swank, who just came into the game. It was a hard hit, but she dug it right up to the setter, and Rice's quick transition put the ball down.
Karen Fasano to serve. Rice leads 5-3. The dump. Quick transition. DeLu. Yarber. Jones with the dig, and there comes the joust, and we're going to have a net foul on Dawn Martin.
It's a nice heads-up block by Tricia Bowen. I think Baylor is going to DeLu on the left side quite a bit, and all she's hitting tonight so far is cross-court. If Rice were smart, they'd move their block a little bit more cross-court, Mitch, and they can block her down.
Coach Sonesson takes a timeout here as Rice leads this game 6-3 in the fourth game, and I think he sees a couple things that he doesn't quite agree with.
It's just as I thought, Mitch, that this game would be, they'd be fighting tooth for nail. The score is only 3 points difference. Both teams are playing really well now. You see, they seem to have meshed a little bit more than in game number one. You see more chemistry out there. They're passing well, digging well. I think they're doing everything well now.
Both teams playing extremely well. Karen Fasano has just gone back and served 3 straight points. She's putting a lot of pressure on that Baylor offense with her serve. And unfortunately for Baylor, Tricia Bowen happens to still be in the front row. Baylor's a little slow in coming out of their huddle here.
Let's look at the stats real quick. It looks like the difference now is not in blocks. Both teams are pretty even with 13 and 12, Rice leading by 1. But in kills, Rice again is leading, and that is due to Tricia Bowen. She has 18 kills so far on the match. Rice with 48 kills and Baylor with 33. I think that's the difference, Mitch.
Fasano to serve as Baylor trails this one 3-6. Williams outside to DeLu, snakes one in. Jaked over. Baylor out of control. Meyer too long.
I thought
But she got it
the
tight.
corner then. That's a great spot if you can hit it, because again, there's no defenders usually in that corner. She hit a little wide, I suppose.
Fasano to Martin, back for the quick kill, something that they haven't done in the last 4 points.
Martin gave a quick stare to Tricia Bowen. After that hit, she hit it right by her. That's what she needs to do to get Baylor back into this game. They trail by 4.
DeLu with the serve. And the ball is over. Martin goes up and just caps the ball before anybody gets a chance for it.
Martin,
Point
again, is really starting to get into her game. She's a senior on this team, and she needs to lead them and heads up smart plays like that one.
Yarber back to Bowen, hands on it, but Martin just happened to double hit the ball on the way up.
Bowen.
Nice deflection by Martin there, though.
That's right, Bowen is finally out of the front row, as you see, get a look of her here. 6'4", the tallest player in the Southwest Conference.
If Baylor's going to make up any time, it's here with Bowen on the back row, and what a big mistake. The serve into the net, and that doesn't get them any points. Dawn Martin is also out of the back row for Baylor as she prepares to serve. Martin at Tricia. Back row attack by Fasano. Outside to Williams. Swing and
Yarber grabs the sideline. That was almost out. I think she grabbed it by a hair. Lines judge called it in, so Rice will get the side out as they lead by 3, Mitch.
Tammy Trounsel comes into the game for Carrie Swank as Katie Meyer gets ready to serve as her Rice Owls lead this game 7-4.
Katie Meyer.
Pass off the mark. Williams, sharp angle. Great dig, Yarber. Overhead, and Trounsel on the swing, and DeLu just can't handle the dig back there.
Nice swing by Trounsel. Also a good set by Katie Meyer. Everybody on the Baylor side thought that she was going to go left side outside. She back set it. Block couldn't get there. Hence they got the kill.
Rice opens up a 4-point lead as Meyer gets ready to serve. His ball is tight, and Kevin McCullough calls Liz Hatfield on the rim.
Tough pass was a little tight to the net. Liz was a little flat on the set and was hence called for the lift, and that gave Rice yet another point.
Katie Meyer tries to take her team to 10 as the Bossy in the middle. Outside. Swing, Yarber. Great dig to Lou. Hadfield. Back row attack by Martin on the floor. Middle to Dell. And they just keep pumping that ball to the middle.
I think now may be a good time for Coach Sonesson to make a change, either a timeout or a substitution. Rice has got 5 or 6 points in a row now, and they're gaining a lot of momentum. Baylor's need to do something to change it around, and sure enough, he brings in Bonnie Inlow to replace Liz Hadfield in the setting position.
Meyer to serve. Another one of your talents is ESP, Mary. And ball is passed too tight. Point for Rice. As Yarber goes up and captures the ball, we have another timeout as Rice leads this fourth game 11-4. I think that I thought you had a little ESP there, Mary, as you were thinking about what was going to happen there.
I could be a coach. I could be a coach, yeah.
We can all coach as long as we're over here on the sidelines and in the stand.
That's right. I think, Mitch, what needs to happen here is Baylor is a good time for a timeout. They need to slow down Rice's attack. Rice has been transitioning very well. They've been hitting very well, and they're digging Baylor's hits. So what they need to do, Baylor, is control the ball a little bit more and play side-out volleyball.
What I noticed here in this fourth game is that Rice has been able to effectively run the middle of the court, their quick attack, and Baylor has been somewhat subjected to going to the outside with a little bit slower attack, and Rice has been beating them on quickness.
I think what's also happening there is Rice is mixing up their attack. They're pushing the outsides of the court, which spreads Baylor's defense, and they're not able to get a good pass up to Hadfield or Inlow, whoever may be setting, and therefore aren't able to transition as effectively.
Well, now we come back into this game with Rice leading 11-4 and Katie Myers serving still. DeLu off the mark to Martin. Back row attack and hits the tape and just snakes on over.
Martin got a lucky break there, hitting off the top of the tape of the net. I guess however you can get a side out at this point in the game is good.
At 11-4, you have to celebrate. We have the substitution for Rice. Tracy Avant is the first time into the match.
And with
She's
this
a redshirt freshman.
With this substitution, Mitch, Rice has played all 12 players tonight.
Swing by Trounsel. Williams, and that ball is blocked hard but out of bounds.
Rice has a real tall front line right now. Nikki Yarber is the shortest one at 5'10", but they've got 6'1" Avant and Trounsel, who's also 6'1".
Inlow to try to get her team back into the game. Baylor Lee is behind 5-11. Quick swing, rejected, played up. Williams, roll shot, Bossy with the up. Jones swings hard, looks for a hand, but no such luck.
Smart play by Baylor, Mitch. Hitting that second ball over really take Rice's defense off balance, but now Rice gets the side out and another opportunity to score.
Yarber to serve. At DeLu, they've been going at her all night. Back to Bossy with a great cut shot. Looked one way, hit the other. Kind of a paintbrush, it hit the floor.
Baylor needs to get on the scoreboard right now, starting with Heather Williams serving.
It'll be interesting to see whether she uses her jump serve or stays on the floor. It appears she'll stay on the floor. She serves, and Krista Bossy gets a little anxious and gets a piece of the net.
Oh, too bad. That's really a great way to get your momentum back and get back into the game with an overpass and a kill. She's a little too anxious, as you said, and hit the net.
We have another substitution here as Cheryl Dell comes back in. She replaces Tracy Avant in the lineup. Gets the serving signal from Coach Sokol and serves hard to the cross court. Serving error, possibly a little cold coming off the bench, Mary?
Perhaps.
Krista Bossy to serve. Ball's passed straight up. Swing hard by Fasano. Back row attack that time by Bonnie Inlow. Would you explain that to us?
Yes, if a player is a back row player at the beginning of the serve, they are not allowed to jump over the net to hit the ball. They can jump if they're behind the 10-foot line, which is that red line across the screen you see now. But if they're in front of that line, they're not allowed to jump and hit the ball over.
Carrie Swank to serve. She's in for Tammy Trounsel. DeLu, Inlow to the middle. Martin tips the ball over. Outside to Fasano. Block. Rice keeps it alive. They've got 3 hits into the cheap seats.
The Owls are really hustling now. They're trying to dig every ball up the block. They're trying hard, but they're still not able to score points, Mitch. They're siding out, but they're not scoring. We've been on 11-5 for some time now. What Baylor needs to do is come in and serve tough and get off 5 and try to catch up a little bit here.
Kathy Jones. Ball's passed right on the money to Bowen over the top of the block. Bossy. Jones, back row attack. Header.
That's a perfect example of a legal back row attack, Mitch. She was behind the red line, behind the 10-foot, so she's allowed to jump and hit the ball over. We're seeing that a lot more, as we said before, in women's volleyball, and it's really starting to become effective.
Jones to serve as the Bears are behind in this game, 6-11. Back row attack, and somebody was in the net, but we can't figure out who.
There is a net call.
Point to the
Karen
Bears.
Fasano. She didn't think she was. She's going back to serve, but no, Baylor gets the ball. As we get a look at Kathy Jones.
Well, that net was moving all around. That's all I know. I didn't see it. Kathy Jones to serve as Baylor is behind 11-7, trying to get her team back into this game to take the Rice Owls to 5. The dig is up, in low, overhead to DeLu, tip, Yarber up, Bowen with the roll shot, in low, out of position, and Martin with a snake over the net. Outside to Fasano, tip, in low with the play, Bossy sets back row, Williams, and she sails that one just
There was a lot of confusion that whole rally, Mitch. I don't think anybody was in their position on either side, but Rice is able to get the side out regardless.
I think Baylor was trying to establish a little bit bigger block and had Bonnie Enlow play the left side as Fasano serves to get her team off 11. Martin swings hard, recovered. Again to Martin, swings hard across court, and finds the seam and the floor.
That was a nice smart hit by Martin. She hit right by Tricia Bowen, who of course reaches very high over the net, but she hit just inside her arms for the side out.
Have to be very impressed with this Baylor team continuing to fight back when they were behind in this 4th game. They've now got back within 4 points as DeLu serves. To Bowen.
Terminator, straight down, side out Rice.
Just put the repeat on. Again, Bowen is back out of the back row, and Baylor happens to have Martin for one more rotation in the front row. Baylor needs to pass well in this rotation because Bowen has been tough on the serve all night long.
That's right.
To DeLu in the range. Williams brings the heat. Meyer. Fasano from backcourt. And Bonnie Enlow catches everybody asleep. That's the campfire defense where we're all sitting around watching.
Smart play by Enlow. She gets her team another chance to catch up, perhaps pull within 3.
Whatever it takes to get a side out at this point. Martin serves. Outside to Yarber.
Yarber puts the ball down. A strong, powerful hit cross court as you get a look at her there.
When Rice passes that ball so well, puts a lot of pressure on that Baylor defense because Rice has so many options. Meyer to serve. Williams on the mark, and to Bossy. To Yarber. Swing down line, great dig off the floor. DeLu, high outside, back row. Jones, and she paintbrushes one over the net, Mary.
Yarber's really cranking outside, but that was a super dig on the Baylor side in the back court. They will get yet another chance to catch up, get to 8 perhaps as Bonnie Enlow goes back to serve.
It appears to me that both these teams continue to warm up here as we go along in here, and I bet they'd like to play all night long. Tracy Avant back into the game for Rice. Free ball to Baylor, Kathy Jones. Enlow, Jones on the X. She flails one, kind of like a wounded duck going out of bounds, except, you know, it's September 1 and it's quail season tomorrow, or dove season, so maybe we just use it as a dove. On the X, no block, out of bounds by Tammy Trounsel.
Baylor is continuing to play side-out volleyball. What they need to do now is take advantage of that and score some points while they have the serve.
Heather Williams. Tough ball to set. Bonnie Enlow with a great run through in the back row. DeLu swings down the line and finds the gap.
There's a little confusion there between Bowen and Meyer in the back court as you get a look at DeLu there, who's been really hot tonight. She's led this Baylor team in kills. DeLu, of course, is just a freshman.
Williams serves into the net as she had just pulled her team back in within 3 points as Rice leads this game 11-8.
We see another substitution here. Mitch. Cheryl Dell is coming in.
Cheryl Dell,
Avant.
she replaces Tracy Avant, puts Avant in the front row to have a bigger block, I'd assume. In low to DeLu, blocked by Bowen, and happens to find an open spot on the court.
Spike's coverage wasn't quite effective there, Mitch. They were all sucked in around the hitter, and the ball was blocked a little deep for a change.
Rice gets within 3 points of this game and this match as they lead this one 12-8. Cheryl Dell with the serve. And an ace on Heather Williams.
Rice pulls within 2 of taking this match 13-8.
Cheryl Dell gets the serving signal again. They'll see if she goes back out after Williams. No, she goes short to Bossy. In low trouble with the set, and it looks like they're going to be called for a hit. For a hit. Cheryl Dell has come in and served 3 straight points as Baylor was just about to climb back in this match. Cheryl Dell will serve for match point. Trouble with the serve. DeLu, free ball. And to Bowen, a little mixed up. A little mix-up on both sides of the court. To the outside, oh, we get a double hit.
Rice has a chance to win the match. They need to be very offensive-oriented in this situation, and the ball seemed to be a little wet as a non-setter went to set the ball. What Baylor needs to do, I think Tom Sonicson is making a good move here, although Liz Hadfield may be a little cold. She was the one who turned this team around in the beginning of the match, and she's in the game now. Maybe she can do the same thing.
Krista Bossy serves deep, passes straight up. Pisano hits.
Great dig.
Williams. Is it going to be out of bounds?
Give the credit to Heather Williams, a super dig from a really hard hit.
Williams is playing some incredible defense in the back row. She's playing that middle back position and is all over the floor. Bossy serves short to the Terminator, and she hits one off the block.
Again, Rice will have an opportunity to win the match. The score is 14-9 as you take a look at Bowen.
As Jessica Williams enters the match again, we've seen a lot of her in the back row tonight, serving and passing. Coach Sokol truly believes that this young lady is going to be a tremendous player in the future. Williams. DeLu, cross court. Garber. Meyer. Tight, and Kathy Jones tries to get one-handed, and that happens to be point game match for Rice. And tremendous match as Rice wins this one in 4. Right now, we'd like to take you to a Southwest Conference coaches volleyball tip.
Hi, I'm Debbie Sokol from Rice University. We're here to present a coaching tip that will aid your middle hitters in making important transitional moves. Middle transition refers to the phase of movement from defense to offense. To be a real threat, middle hitters must make themselves available to be set. Gaining hitting position after the block can be one of the shortest and quickest transitional moves on the court. Typically, the blocker will descend, allowing her head to follow the ball over either shoulder. Once she lands and pivots, she would take 3 to 4 running steps toward the 10-foot line, where she will air pivot again, readying herself for the set. When the middle blocker is strung out to the ends of the court, she must travel a greater distance. This requires her to take more steps, always following the ball with her eyes. In the case of a fast offense, where the quick one set is utilized, the middle hitter may only have time to land before she must get back up in the air in front of the setter. A shallow approach would be used here from left front, as the middle hitter tracks closely to the net but maintains her angular approach pattern, keeping her hitting shoulder open to the setter. The key to any successful transition is movement off the net as quickly as possible. Once middle hitters learn to make themselves available to hit each and every time, your offense can become less predictable and more of a threat. This tip to help you with your volleyball skills has been brought to you by Whataburger.
We'll be back to wrap up this Southwest Conference match as you're watching Southwest Conference Women's Volleyball. And we're back with Coach Debbie Sokol, the victorious coach. And how about the defense there late in the game, Debbie? It seemed like both teams were digging a lot of balls. They were scrambling, having to grovel a little bit.
Right, I think the play got a little sloppy in the third game. It picked up, basically we gave up our defensive position and we weren't real disciplined about getting back into position, and so we started digging balls in unorthodox ways, but we got the job done.
What did you tell your team after they had lost the third game and you knew Baylor was going to come back out hard and continue to try to fight and win this match?
Well, I told them to let's get back to basics and let's think about where our defensive positioning needs to be and get our blockers with their hands up and get our base position again, because that's when that breaks down, the ball starts getting put down on you each time, and it becomes real frustrating. So went back to that, and things worked out.
A much improved Baylor Bear team on the other side of the net?
Very much so, very much so. They've got some nice attackers, and their digging is, I think, 100% from last year.
Well, Debbie, I am sure that you guys are looking for a lot of success, and tell me a little bit about your schedule as you guys go down the road here.
Well, we've got a menacing schedule, and we're pleased that we're able to match up with some of these people. It's going to be a real test of whether or not we're a top 20 team this year, and we're going to get hit early on, starting tomorrow night with our first top 10 team, but we're real excited about it and real excited about the opportunities our players are going to have along the road.
So it's a philosophy that to be the best, you have to play the best.
Yes, it is.
And you're watching Southwest Conference Women's Volleyball on HSC, the best team on TV.